Then we have Neil Magny taking on Mike Malott. Mike Malott always finds himself on these Canada. Actually, him and Jasmine always end up on these Canada cards together, and they usually deliver, especially on these Canada cards. Anyway, we got Neil Magny. This guy's incredibly well-rounded. He seems to be the UFC's go-to guy when it comes to getting older vets a competitive fight or testing young prospects. He's very tough. He's very experienced. He's skilled everywhere. Mostly, though, he's a busy guy. He's going to come forward. He's going to strike. He does have very solid grappling as well, with an average of more than 2 takedowns per fight. He is 21-10 in the UFC, and he has fought a who's who of this division. His last 3 losses are to Gilbert Burns, Shavkat Rakhmonov, and Ian Gary on 2 weeks' notice. His losses are quality losses. He's taking on Mike Malott. This guy's a pretty well-rounded guy. He's got a loose striking style that allows him to box and kickbox comfortably. He's technically sound, and he manages range well. He does not have any specific background. So you can expect him to strike. You can expect him to grapple. You can expect him to wrestle. He's this next generation of fighter that all he's ever done is full-blown MMA. He has 4 fights in the UFC with 2 knockdowns, a knockout, and 3 submission wins. Most recently, he submitted Adam Fugit in the 2nd round. Every time I see Neil Magny, every time I see this guy on the paper, I see the matchup, I always think, man, this guy's really good, and this is going to be a tough fight. And you know what? When he beat Anthony Pettis, when he beat Robbie Lawler, when he beat Jeff Neal, that was a very true statement. But these last couple of years have not looked great. He's an aging vet at this point. Even in his win over Daniel Rodriguez, he did not look good at all. His win over Phil Rowe, he did not look good at all. And those wins were more about his opponents doing the wrong things than it was about him doing the right things. He really just won that on veteran toughness and savvy. He was not the better fighter, did not look good in either one of those wins. And that's what makes this tricky, though, because Neil is good. He has all the tools. But this is going to have to be a Mike Malott pick. This is the matchup in Canada for a reason. The UFC knows what they're doing. He's a young prospect. They're saying, go out here. Here's a tough vet. Here's a guy with some really credible wins. Let's see how good you are, but it should be safe enough that you do okay. Neil Magny is not a dangerous guy. We don't have to worry about a one-punch knockout. Certainly a guillotine could happen, but I think Mike Malott can come forward, can wrestle, can make this happen. I don't think he's going to make the mistakes that Phil Rowe was making. The mistakes Phil Rowe was making in that fight were just insane. I don't think Mike Malott's going to make those mistakes. I think we can trust him, even though he is a young guy. I think we can trust him to come forward, stay busy, wrestle, do the right things. The one and only thing that concerns me is anytime you get one of these young, hyped-up prospects that are just finishing. Who knows, man? Neil is tough, and if all of a sudden Neil's staying tough, hanging out, we're in the 3rd round, Mike can be excited. That worries me a little bit if this fight goes, but Mike Malott should win this fight. All the respect in the world to Neil Magny, but I think the UFC put him in this matchup for a reason. Before you go, let me give you $50. Anybody who goes to WeWantPicks.com/bets and signs up with any one of our affiliate partners gets $50 as a thank you. Use the link, sign up, make a deposit. We send you $50 as a thank you.